the channel. We're so glad you're exploring with us again today. And today we're at Jewel Cave National Monument here in South Dakota. This is the 4th video on our trip. We'll link the other videos down below, but we're excited to take you down underground and see what Jewel Cave is all about. Let's go explore.
All right, we have made it to Jewel Cave National Monument.
The only way to see the cave is through a ranger-led tour, so DJ and I booked the Scenic Tour in advance, and it's known for its blunt nail head and dogtooth spar crystals. So let's go underground and check it out.
But like we said, you can't touch the jewel, so get it out of your system up here, please.
All right, let's take a look over here. This is kind of cool. Looks like the ranger's calling us.
Cave. In terms of like our knowing about it. It all started in 1900. Two cowboys, two brothers, were riding their horses through Hell's Canyon. And initially, they thought those jewels were quartz. Why would it be sick if it was quartz? On this just massive mine, this massive cave just full of gold. So they went into Custer, filed a mining claim, came back. They learned very, very quickly it was not quartz. Learned how to use it, I guess, yet. So this is this is dogtooth spar. This is a calcite crystal that's a little bit sharper. It resembles dog teeth. Some people say it should be called shark tooth spar. I don't know, it's just sharp. That's all it is. Yeah, so there's a really nice chunk of that throughout here. And then this is our nailhead spar. Nailhead spar is the exact same material as this. It's the exact same thing, but erosion caused the head of it, or the top of it, to flatten like a nailhead. So these are the jewels of Jewel Cave.
Here we go, down into the cave. Wow, look at that.
And these critters had calcium-rich bodies. They would die, sink to the floor, and over the years, their bodies would cement together and create a limestone. That's the limestone we're standing in today. It's called the Pahasapa limestone.
Good look at the nailhead spar. That is pretty. Some exposed jewel. Some more nailhead spar.
It's a very interesting looking formation.
Box work.
Limestone cracks, it just sat. The minerals in calcite are a bit tougher than the limestone, so erosion just caused these cracks to be exposed. It is 99% dry. This is one of that 1% that's not dry. So stalactites, I remember them. They have to hold tight to the ceiling. They're the structures that are on our ceiling. Water is dripping down. As that water has minerals in it, it leaves behind a ring of minerals. And over time, over millions and thousands of years, that's going to build up. Create that stalagmite. This, you might trip over it. So that's how I remember it. Again, it's just water dripping. Some of that water has mineral in it, and that mineral just piles up over the years. So the middle of that thing is hollow. So these are a lot more rare than stalactites. They're pretty cool. I think they look like jellyfish. That's again just water flowing over the cave walls. Wind caused change of directions. Just different factors that made them all curvy.
Okay, we're gonna go dark.
All right. Oh my gosh, it's right. That's crazy. This is how they found the room. You wouldn't even know what you're looking at. This is flowstone. This is a result of water flowing into the room and leaving its minerals behind. to Spooky
Nail head
Hollows,
spur.
and then the torture room. So yeah.
What a treasure our national park system is.
This brown all over the walls. This is manganese. It's settled to the bottom. We're in one of the lower parts of the cave. So manganese mineral just made its way down.
Alright, here's some cave bacon.
Yes.
Really does look like bacon.
So we're standing in this room, massive room, because two people, they weren't scientists, they were rock climbers. Rock climbers and cavers, probably, in my opinion, they're insane. Like, it's crazy to do that stuff. But a couple of people were curious. But the story behind the name, they stumbled upon this room. It was about hour 14 of the caving day, and they were running low on water. So they come into this room, and they hear water dripping. They're like, awesome, you know, some of the purest waters in this cave. We can go fill up our canteen and keep going, or leave. So they follow a drip. Then there's another drip. And so they're in circles, they're running in circles trying to find those drips for about 2 hours, and then they eventually give up. So they thought it was torture, just trying to find that water and not even find it.
Give you an idea of what we're walking through. You can see the steps up there. Okay, we've come to the end of the tour. We're gonna head back into the elevators and back up to the surface.
Are you allowed touching that?
Yes, I am, because this is the piece outside the elevator. They encourage you to touch it here and get it all out of your system before you go down into the cave. But here you can really see how it gets the name Jewel Cave out here in the light.
Okay, so we are trying to find the natural entrance. Oh, maybe it's right here? Maybe?
Yeah, must be. Here, let me get a picture.
Oh yes, you can see the wee little tiny hole right there.
Ah, good.
Another look at that entrance. How small it is. It's the original natural entrance. Here's a look at the ranger station. It's at the natural entrance. It is closed, but the construction of the building looks cool. So in the window of the old ranger station, it does talk about the CCC building this. So this CCC camp was stationed out of Wind Cave, but a few of them came up here to construct some stuff at Jewel Cave, and this is one of the buildings that they built along with those steps that we just went down to the natural entrance. Pretty cool. All right, the next stop on today's adventure is at Wind Cave National Park.
All right, we just got to Wind Cave National Park, and we are pulling into the first pull-off here, and it says the valley in front of you is the site of the Wind Cave National Game Preserve, which was established in 1912 to reintroduce bison to the area. About 4,000 acres were enclosed to receive 20 bison from the New York Zoological Society and Yellowstone National Park. Soon, Rocky Mountain elk and pronghorn antelope arrived. As the bison and elk herds increased, lands were added to the game preserve. In 1935, Congress combined the preserve with the national park, and the Civilian Conservation Corps made the fences to mark the park boundary. Since then, the park staff has had two missions: protect the prairie, forest, and wildlife, as well as the cave.
So here's our first bison that we found at Wind Cave National Park.
All right, we're headed into the visitor center to get our national park stamp. And this is DJ and I's 35th national park that we have visited together. In the 35th national park official.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so you're looking at a black-footed ferret in their little diorama here. And the black-footed ferret depends almost exclusively on one food source, prairie dogs. When prairie dogs and their habitat were destroyed over the last century, ferrets almost went extinct. The park reintroduced black-footed ferrets in 2007. They remain among the most endangered mammals in North America. This small opening is the natural entrance to Wind Cave, and according to the sign, it in part states the Lakota Nation chronicles this opening as the place of emergence of their people. The park ranger began our tour here with the Lakota Emergence Story. You can read the full story from the National Park Service website linked in the description below.
Incredibly beautiful. With that, the earth was finally ready. So the people emerged from the natural entrance, and this is the spot where they saw that very first buffalo hoof print. That's whenever the creators told them that they had to follow them, because buffalo provide them with food, would lead them to water, and would give them shelter. So the people emerged out onto the plains we know them today. The creator shrunk the natural entrance to the size that it is today to remind the people where they came from. So keep that in mind as you're going through these passageways today. It's an incredibly sacred site for a lot of local communities.
So this cave is a little bit tighter than the last cave we were in.
Yeah. So according to the park's website, the speleotherm that Wind Cave is most famous for is boxwork. Boxwork is what makes Wind Cave so unique. Rarely found elsewhere in the world, boxwork hangs from the ceiling and lines many of the walls of the cave. Boxwork is made of thin blades of calcite that project from cave walls and ceilings, forming a honeycomb pattern. The fins intersect one another at various angles, forming the boxes on all cave surfaces. The origin of boxwork remains one of the biggest mysteries of Wind Cave. You can learn more at the link I put in the description below.
We have to duck down.
Bonk.
Definitely. Ooh, I was just cave kissed. Oh, the box work up there.
Yeah, look at all that. Look at here. Actually, water dripping right there. Down onto that. Whoa. Look at all this box work. Well, that room is super cool looking.
Yeah, it does. It does.
They made a model of this room and put it up into the visitor center. Model room. Sometimes cave names can be very creative. Sometimes you shouldn't. One time, so he would actually explore this whole area using just a candle and some string. So what you do is you take this in the complete darkness. This would have been about as much light as you would have had back in the day, and I prefer our modern day headlamps. That's for sure. Yeah, 2,000 feet deep into the earth, and that the winds would be pouring at them at 150 miles an hour. How much of that do you guys think is true? Nope. 0. Yeah, there's not a whole ton of that is true. Anyone felt any harm for supposed to be doing? Neither family was going to own Wind Cave, so return back to being federal land. Are you guys support?
Okay, so that is concluded the end of this Wind Cave tour, and we'll see you on the surface. All right, so back up at the surface, you can see a lighted version of the boxwork. A sample displayed here was salvaged during the renovations of the elevator shaft. Although touching formations in the cave is prohibited to prevent damage, please feel free to carefully touch this piece.
We just talked to the ranger, and I asked him, the entrance that we went in was on the other side of that building you can see in front of us. That's the visitor center. And I asked him where we came out, the elevator, And he said essentially the cave is right under this concrete sidewalk that we're walking on.
Okay, so out of the two cave, which one was your favorite?
Well, I think Jewel Cave was probably my favorite one.
Yeah, I really like that one. Both rangers did an amazing job, but I do think Jewel Cave had a little bit more stuff to look at inside. There was like 3 prominent formations where this one had like primarily one, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and Jewel Cave didn't have a lot of the formations, but they pointed out like the straws and the stalagmites and stalactites, where this one didn't have that because it's more of a drier cave.
Yeah. Well, we are so glad that you could join us on this adventure into 2 really unique and pretty cool caves. And we hope to see you on our next adventure. Bye!